Kyle Delaney here, bringing the latest edition of my video blog. And in this installment, I'd like to just go over UFC 141 and just do a recap, go over the fights, and give you my 2 cents on what happened last night. Now, just very briefly, we got to see some young talent in the UFC. We got to see John Fitch lose for the first time in a very long time. And Brock Lesnar is now retired, and Alistair Overeem now has a title shot against Junior Dos Santos. So those are just a couple of things in regards to that. Overall, I thought it was a pretty good card. So I'm just going to go down the fights and tell you what I thought. So the first fight was Hetes versus Nam Fan. Now, Hetes came out, and what an eye-opening performance, really. I mean, he is 9-0. He has 9 submission victories. And what's so impressive about it is that he's a brown belt in judo, and he's only a purple belt in Brazilian jiu-jitsu. But some people just get it. Okay, their belts are not reflective of how talented they are, and Hetes has a very high ceiling. And what he did, he came out and completely dominated Nam Fan, a very good fighter in their respective divisions. Nam Fan didn't have a chance to use his impressive boxing, but what he did do, even though Nam Fan was completely beaten down, what I said was even going into the third round, after 2 rounds, Hetes took Nam Fan already to the depths, and there was a round left of fighting. Most definitely, Hetes will. I mean, his fighting style is very, very good, and he's definitely got a very bright future. But one thing that Nam Fan's a very tough guy. He took a beating, and what he showed was excellent submission defense. He was in a bunch of submission holds. He fought his way out of them with very good submission defense. He was very tough. He ate a lot of shots, and he continued to fight all the way to the decision. He did get dominated, but still, hats off to that. He took a beating, and he was I'd say, very impressive in not giving up, no quit. But regards to Hetes, he's got a very bright future in the UFC. He has not even tapped his skills that he has. Not the best stand-up, but he did catch Nam Fan a couple of times. But if Hetes gets a hold of you, you're going down to the ground, and he's going to find some sort of submission. I'd say is that 90% of fighters probably would have been submitted last night. But Nam Fan's a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and showed very, very good submission defense. So I look forward to seeing Hetes on the rise. One can only imagine where he would be when he gets black belts in those 2 respective fields and puts it all together. Very high ceiling. A lot of potential, and I hope Nam Fan lands on his feet. Very good fight to start off the night, even though it was one-sided. The next fight was Gustafsson versus Mashenko, and this one was very quick. The battle of the old wily vet, the old man, versus the high-rising, talented kid. Gustafsson came out, landed a shot with Mashenko coming forward in the pocket, and just landed a stiff jab right in the face. Mashenko did all the work for Gustafsson. Now, it's unfortunate for Mashenko. He stepped forward without his hands up. He was trying to find a gap in Gustafsson, but he didn't. He got caught, and it's unfortunate. And I hope Mashenko lands on his feet. But regards to Gustafsson, we didn't really get to see too much of him, but we know what to expect from Gustafsson. He continues to get better. Very good stand-up, very long frame, good reach, and he's starting to really. I mean, he's opened up a lot of eyes, but I mean, Gustafsson, there's a very high ceiling for him as well. He continues to improve. He's a very young kid as well, very bright future in the UFC. And I think this is a perfect time to really give him that step up in talent, that fight that will show us if this kid's for real or not. So I'd say give him a top tier fighter. And a fight I'd like to see based on styles, a really clash of styles fight would be Shogun Rua versus Gustafsson. I know it's a big step up in talent, but we could see if Gustafsson's for real. If he wins, he's right in the top contender picture. It's time to test the kid and see where he's at and where his talent stands. So that's all I have for that. Hopefully Mashenko lands on his feet, continues to fight, and I really want to see Gustafsson be tested. I'm not saying Mashenko didn't. It was a quick fight, but I'd like to see Gustafsson fight a top-tier talent guy and see if this kid really is for real. And his talent is telling us that he is. So let's see where it's at. The next fight was John Fitch versus Johnny Hendricks, and all I could say is, wow. That Johnny Hendricks, that just happened. It really did. I'd say I went with John Fitch. I went 4 for 5 on my picks with the main card. But John Fitch, this is the one fight I got wrong. I mean, John Fitch knows how to win fights. Seemed like a safe pick, but Johnny Hendricks. I can tell you one thing. I was confident in my pick with Fitch. I wasn't going back, but the more I watched highlights of Johnny Hendricks, his old fights, Johnny Hendricks is a great wrestler, and he has got some serious power in those hands, especially for the division that they're in. Johnny Hendricks needs to be taken seriously now. Okay, he comes out, he knocks out John Fitch in 12 seconds, something that people have not been able to do. Some of the best have not been able to do. So, do I think Johnny Hendricks is worthy of a title shot right away? No, I don't. Think he has got to work his way up the ladder just a little bit more, but he's now being taken seriously. I'd like to see what fight he gets next. this is time for him to see where he's at talent-wise and give him a higher up talent fight, and see where he's at. He's a couple fights away from a title shot if he continues to win. So in regards to John Fitch, I just like to say John Fitch put on a serious win streak for a long time, and it was shattered last night. I'm not the biggest Fitch fan, but I respect what the guy did. He knows how to win fights. Not the most entertaining fighter. People bashing him last night. Oh, he's so boring and all that. Yeah, he's not the most entertaining guy, but he put on a win streak. So respect the guy for that. And I certainly hope that John Fitch lands on his feet and comes back better. Embraces his stand-up a little more, keeps his hands up, and continues to use his very dominating wrestling. So I'm not going to bash John Fitch for his loss. He just got caught. That's the beautiful part of this sport. Whether you come out on top or on the bottom, anything's possible at any time. So never count anybody out. That's the beautiful thing about this sport. So hopefully Fitch lands on his feet. Hopefully we get to see more of Johnny Hendricks and see if this kid really is for real. Continue to open eyes and see, if you're a top contender and you can make it to the top. So that's why I have for that fight. In regards to, and this is coming up to fight of the night, absolute war. And we have fights. This is Diaz Cerrone. You have fights where people are like, oh, it's going to be the best fight. It's going to be the best fight. It's not. This one lived up to the fight. And Dana White said this one lived up to its potential and all the talk, and it was. Leading up with all the trash talk going into this fight, you have two guys who like to go and just strike and bang, and they're very similar fighters, very similar. A little bit more dynamic striking, but and Cerrone wanted a war. He got a war. He flipped off Nate Diaz before the fight, and I don't want to say it was not the best of ideas. Let your actions speak before you do your talking. But there was a lot of talking before the fight. But that's just my view on it. Nate Diaz comes out and shows us that his boxing has only gotten a million times better since his Gomi fight. We thought it could only, it was already great, but it's only gotten much better and will continue to get better. His 1-2s, his combos, and he showed his unbelievable chin. I mean, I felt like we were watching Nick last night. I know Nick's a little bit a better boxer than Nate, but Nate's only getting better. He's got a very high ceiling as well with his stand-up. And the regards of it is that, I don't want to say that Cerrone fought a bad fight, but he let Nate dictate the pace. Nate stood so close that Cerrone couldn't land his kicks. Nate had a very good strategy, and Cerrone was put out of his comfort zone. And when you're smothered by jabs and great boxing, you're put off your game plan. That's what happened to Cerrone. Cerrone did not look comfortable. He did not fight his fight. And, he did land some big shots on Nate, but that's the Diaz. Diaz's are tough. They're tough guys. They say you don't have to be from Stockton to be tough, but, those guys are freaking tough. And I'll just say this is that the Diaz's boxing, Nate and Nick, are redefining boxing in MMA. Really good, unorthodox or technically sound, however you want to call it, is redefining boxing in MMA. These guys are unbelievable. That whole Cesar Gracie fight team, these guys got great boxing. So, and I'm glad these two respected each other when the fight was all over, when all was said and done, that they had respect for each other. Cerrone will land on his feet. He's so talented. He learns from this. He knows how to fight through adversity, what to do when you are put out of your game plan, how to alter it. And, Nate will continue to push forward. He's very impressive at lightweight, and I think this is the right division for him to be fighting, and there's no point of him to be fighting at a higher division. This is his division. I'd like to continue to see him press forward and continue to improve. So that's what I have for that one. Definitely fight of the night. Glad it lived up to the hype. Glad these two had respect for each other when the fight was over, and I think this is a very good gut check for Cerrone, and it is also a very good test to see where Nate Diaz stands, and Nate Diaz is, he needs to be taken seriously in that division. So that's why I have for that one, definitely fight of the night. Lastly, going to the main event, I got this one. This is a prediction I did for Couch Fighter. First round TKO, Overeem called it. Just saying. But, I just want to say is that, Lesnar did not fight the fight that he wanted to fight. I think he respected Overeem's hands a little too much and his striking. But Lesnar didn't fight his fight. I'm not going to go back and say that everything went wrong, but it's very hard to fight a guy who's, Lesnar looked very comfortable up until Overeem landed those first couple of shots, and then it looked like all his confidence was drained. There was no will to fight. There was no confidence in his game. It's like, oh my God, what am I going to do? He landed a couple of shots, and that's what it's been like in all these fights. Once Carwin landed those shots, oh my God, what do? I'm going to curl up in a ball. Once Velasquez landed those strikes, he suffocated you, he finished you. And this is what happened. Overeem landed those knees, he landed you in the clinch, and all his confidence was drained. That's at least what I saw. So, and I think Lesnar's game plan, he did not fight his game plan. You could see that in his corners. Like, you're an elite wrestler. You got to try and go for that takedown. You don't try and stand with an elite striker. But, this is also people overlooking Overeem's ground game. Overeem needs to be taken seriously in the heavyweight division. Doesn't matter who he's fought in the past. He's a very skilled fighter. And whether you want to say Lesnar isn't that good of a heavyweight fighter, Overeem needs to be taken seriously in the heavyweight division. Great skill, great stand-up fighter. And regardless of his, he out-clinched and out-grappled an elite wrestler. He landed those knees, then he landed that kick to the liver and finished Lesnar. People saying that it was a bad stoppage. You were wrong. Lesnar was not coming back from that. So, and he liver kicked Lesnar into retirement. And that's, this is the last thing I'd just like to say. Overeem moves forward, gets a title shot against Junior Dos Santos. And I'll say I respect Brock Lesnar. I'm not a fan of Brock Lesnar, but you know what? The guy had the courage to step in the octagon and compete. And, he deserves our respect for that. He's dealt with a lot in the past, with people doubting him and all this other stuff, has a lot of haters. But, respect to the guy. Wish him all the best. He's been through a lot. And hopefully he has a good retirement and can move forward with whatever he does. And respect to Brock Lesnar. So, in regards to that, just wrapping up UFC 141 recap, Alistair Overeem moves forward and fights Junior Dos Santos in the heavyweight title fight. I'm going to call this one now. You heard it here first. Junior Dos Santos knocks out Alistair Overeem, first round knockout. So you heard it here first, and that's what I have for this edition. I hope everybody has a very happy and safe New Year. This is Kyle Delaney signing off. I'm out of here.